Hello everyone. This video will be a demonstration on how to draw a still life scene, objects from your home, things in your possession. And for this one, I would say between 5 and 7 items. And if you could vary the items from a little bit bigger items to medium size to smaller items, that'd be great. And so you're going to gather these items and put them together. And you might want to try overlapping some of the items. But your goal here is to get the basic shapes and build up the drawing. And I'm going to demonstrate that in this video. And just guide you step by step in a one way of drawing still lifes. And this one we're going to be focusing on lines. We're not going to be going to so much shading or cross hatching or any of that stuff. The key here is just to kind of explore or understand shape and form. And one thing that's kind of difficult with drawing still life, it's proportion. And that takes practice. There's different techniques, ratios, fractions. But I'm going to demonstrate and talk about as I go through this drawing with you. Okay, so take advantage of this video. I hope it's helpful for you and you're able to see a way of drawing still life objects. And try to keep it as simple as possible, because sometimes it can get kind of complex and overwhelming, and that's not the goal of this assignment. The goal of this assignment is for you to practice and to slowly get better at your skills of drawing in terms of proportion, placement, arranging the items. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin. What I did was I gathered some objects, put them together, and I want you to gather 5 to 7 items, put them on a table, and what I want you to do is after that take a picture of it. So after arranging my objects, I took a picture of the scene, and I'm going to upload the original photograph with my drawing to the assignment. And that's what I want you to do. Okay? All right. So first off, before you draw something, I want you to study the shapes and forms, and just kind of look at, just study where they are, what's to the left, what's to the right, what is the largest object, what are the smaller objects. Notice some of the details in your piece. We're going to start off with big shapes. Generalized shapes rather than tiny little detail. Okay, and work within yourself in terms of complexity, and make it interesting for yourself. And remember, you're not perfect. You're going to make mistakes, and that's just part of the process. So I want you to put the time in. Make sure you don't rush the drawing, and spend time with it, and that's how you're going to improve your skills in drawing still lifes. All right, so after studying the subject, what is the object that's in the middle of your composition? Okay, so I'm going to just draw an oval, rounded oval here. This is going to very lightly. So why I draw lightly, why do artists draw lightly in a scene, is because you can erase things, you can change things fairly easily. But I'm going to start off with just ovals here. There's an oval here representing the central object. I'm going to draw another oval here, just placing the object. There's another object here. Let's see, there's a ball right here. I'm just going to draw a circle. Slow down if you'd like. You don't have to do it quickly, but very lightly. And so I'm going from larger objects to smaller objects. And just kind of get a feel for the width and the height and the width of your objects. You don't have to be perfect. Just get the basic shapes. And this is so much more not stress inducing. This shouldn't be stressful. You're just kind of generalizing the shapes and forms and getting the angles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 objects here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 general shapes. I place these objects here, and it's pretty abstract. You really can't tell what these objects are at this point, right? So next I'm going to look at this and go, okay, which shape do I want to put more complex shapes in, build in more shapes? Which one would you start off? Okay, for me, I think this central area, I have this little stuffed animal, I want to put that in there first. And then I'll overlap these shapes around the rest of the piece, okay? So here, I'm gonna stay fairly light with the pencil. And I'm going to draw, I noticed the stuffed animal has kind of like a circular head. It's not like a perfect circle, but I'm going to draw lightly until I get the basic shape of that head. And then for the body, I notice it's more like an egg-like shape. And notice I don't care about overlapping shapes. That's no problem whatsoever. And I'm staying fairly light with the drawing. And then the snout has a little circle. So I'm looking for shapes within shapes. So there's a shape for the snout here. And then the big eyes. Oh my God, this stuffed animal has big, very bold eyes. I think that's why I like this stuffed animal, because it's like mesmerizing because of the eyes. And then for the ears, I just put these little, God, what would you call these? Like just a blob of half of an oval ear, maybe. Yeah, like a semicircle peeking through. Oh, that's not good. I need to raise that higher. That needs to go higher. And then I'll put the little nose here. Nose is kind of triangular shape, so I'm going to put in triangular shape. And then a little smile of the... Oh, let's go back to the eyes here. There's the pupil. Holy cow. This doll does not have eyelids. Oh my gosh. This eye over here is kind of oblong, like an egg shape within an egg shape, so I'm going to put that in there. There's a reflection. I'm going to put a shape of the reflection in the eye. God, this expression looks kind of scary. So here's the basic shape. Basic shapes. And then I'm going to come here, connect it to the shoulder. And on the chest of the stuffed animal has this wider area. I want to define that. It comes into the snout, kind of like a reverse upside down triangle or like an arrowhead shape. Wow, look at that. Holy cow. I'm going to leave that alone for right now. I'm going to move on to the next shape, which is this little dollar store Scully figurine, still in the box. And I'm going to create the trapezoid, which is the box itself. These tend to be a little bit tougher to draw because of the perspective, but notice how this line here is kind of going upwards at an angle, okay? That's in my original still life setup, so I want to put that in there. If yours is kind of flat, 0 degree, that's okay. Okay, next is I'm going to design just the basic logo of the box, the colors, the design of the box, the package. Let's see, there's the plastic part where Scully, the little figurine, is in. And I don't really care about drawing the plastic. I just want to draw the shape of the area where Scully is, the little figurine. And this might be a little bit of a complex shape or figure, but you might want to find something that's easier for you. Yeah, let's draw Scully here. I've never drawn Scully. Let's start off with what is the main body of Scully. The main body of Scully almost looks like, holy cow, it looks like a rectangle, like a rounded rectangle. Look at that. And then his head, it's almost, there's a circle for his large jaw. There's his large jaw. And then he has like another oval on top, smaller than his jaw. His jaw is really pronounced. And then he has a smaller jaw. And he has two little funny circular eyes looking. And then he has a smile. Let's lower the forehead a little bit more, flatten it out. And then he has little horns. So just looking for shapes. And then he has his pupils. I can't really see his nose very well, but I'm just going to do like a, there you go. Tiny little half circle there. Okay, and then for his torso, there's his chest area, and then he has a rounded belly. And his legs are kind of like tubular. And a tubular coming out. Then he has an arm there, so, oh man, hands can be pretty tough. So I'm just going to do an oval for the arm. I'm going to do a little circle for the palm, raised palm. And then each finger here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Does he have 4 fingers? Look at that, 4 fingers. Okay, so I put little lines here indicating his fingers. And then I'm going to put little sausage fingers, little ovals for the fingers themselves. I'm not going to do more detail than that. I think that's fine. And then for his other arm, God, look at his, Sully works out. Look at those deltoids, shoulder muscles. Holy cow. So there's like a circle for the shoulder, circle for the bicep, and then he has huge, long forearms. Okay. And then for the toes, 1, 2, 3. 1 circle, 2 circle, 3 circle. 1 circle, 2 circle, 3 circle. Okay, there's my box. There's a basic Scully. Next, I'm going to draw the cork wine, the cork stopper for wine. It's a basic cylinder. And you notice on the bottom, there's an oval ellipse. Okay, make the bottom a little bit wider than the top. Notice the angle. Remember geometry? What angle is that, guys? It's like 55, 60 degrees. Next, I'm going to do the other wine stopper, which is kind of like a mushroom shape here. And this goes back into space like that. Ooh, let's make that a little bit higher. Just a little bit. Next, I'm going to draw the tennis ball. So what's nice is drawing the larger shape and then the smaller shapes as we go down. It can give you a better idea of if your proportions are looking good, your height and width of your object. What's the size of the tennis ball? So there's a tennis ball, and I'm going to, on the tennis ball, there are these stripes or these divisions within the yellow portion. I'm just going to create a line. Follow that line down, and then I'm going to thicken that line to indicate. If you want to use a compass for your tennis ball, that's fine to draw, that's fine. And on the other side, there's a subtle stripe over here, design. And then I'll just, let me think about if I want to put in the logo, the name of this product. Okay, the last thing is the cup. And the cup is a Burger King cup, and I'm going to create a cup here. And on the side, the cup is narrower at the bottom, okay? Narrower at the bottom. And I can use a ruler or another paintbrush to get the angle. So I'm going to place this up. I'm going to look at the still life, and I'm going to find the angle, and then lay that angle down onto the paper. And how high is this cup? The cup is approximately right here. And I did cut into the cup, so don't ask me why I cut into the cup. Next, I'm going to draw the cut portion of the cup. It's kind of jagged. And then this portion can get kind of confusing. There's a lot of pencils and pens within this, but so I'm going to keep it very basic. I'm going to just go from left to right. I'm going to approximate the shape of each of these pens of what I can see. Okay. I'll take my time. They overlap, so I'm going to overlap these. Just rectangles. Just rectangles. Just repeated shapes. You do notice as an artist, once you kind of practice basic shapes, you can kind of make up the whole world, much of the world, through these basic shapes over and over again. And I'm still just very light with the pencil. So take your time, try your best, but have patience. Enjoy the process. So there we are right now so far. Look at that. I'm really happy with this so far. I'm going to look at the negative space, which is this space right here in between the objects to the background. Okay, now, what am I doing here? Let's see here. Darn, I don't have my eraser here, but what can I use here? I'm going to use just a bit of scrap paper here. Scrap paper doesn't, just wad it up a little bit. Just lightly blend the line drawing. You don't want to get rid of the detail, but just kind of soften up the line. Just not too much, just very lightly. And the purpose of that is to kind of flatten out the image a little bit. Okay, that way, this next level, I want to go in and I want to push a little bit harder with the pencil and just do a little bit more detailed work. Just the contour lines. Just kind of go around and do a little more observation of the outside shapes and forms. Observation, your ability to see things and notice things that you might have missed a little bit earlier. I'm going to define some of the shadow areas. Bring this a little bit. One of the frustrations of drawing multiple objects is they don't perfectly align to what you're seeing in the photograph or with your eye. So it takes a little bit of adjustment. Proportion is something that takes lots of practice and experience and you get better at. Sully is on a skateboard or something. I didn't even notice that. Let's draw that little shape in there. Oh, it's a platform. It's like a little stand. Little Mattel logo. I'm gonna put in the Monster logo here. Little M. Oh, there's a tiny little eyeball in it. And then there's a little cutout of where where it hangs on the display. Let's put that in there. That's good. Cork is good. I'm going to put in the on the cork. There's this little design I want to put in there. Little diamond shape, and within that there's a letter T. A little bit extra. There's a T, and then here with a pen design. Let's see. I'll just. I want to draw the logo of the product here. Never drew this before. I just want to try it here. And this is funky because this is like, oh my gosh, I'm drawing on a curved surface. This is not easy. This is but I just want to try it. I don't care if I make a mistake. I just want to see if I can practice that, get a feel for this shape and form. Gets narrower and narrower because the curved surface. Look at that. It's okay. So number 3 here. Curved. Try to draw that. Okay, and then do I want to draw? Yeah, let's try this here. Where does the Burger King go across? Right there. So there's a slight curve right there. It's a little coffee, what do you call it? Keeps your hand from getting burned or irritated by the hot coffee. And then you have the Burger King logo or name, trademark there. But I'm just going to draw the basic shapes of the letters. Any Burger King fans out there? Let's just do the outside of the letters. All right. Hard part about letters is you don't know if you have enough space to finish out your drawing. That turned out pretty good. One piece at a time. Okay. All right. All right, so right there is my drawing. All right, let me see what it looks like underneath the video. That's pretty good, yeah. Some books on the side here I want to add. The table on the other side. All right, And the third layer here is to go in and just darken in the outside of the basic shapes. So I'm going to press a little bit harder and thicken up the lines of these objects. And what I'm doing is, by doing this, it's making the shapes stand out more. I don't want to do this with all the details, but just the outside shapes and forms. It separates out the shapes so they're more defined, so they kind of stand on their own a little bit. It's easier to see. Sometimes, students, drawers, they just make the lines too light. It's hard for the viewer to see. Let's see here. Man, I need to work on these eyes. These eyes are really tough here. Let's see if I can bring out these eyes a little bit. Darker. Pupils are darker. Oh my god, these eyes look crazy. We don't have to worry about color or shading. I'm just worried about the basic shapes and the forms. We'll do the shading and the texture later on, but our goal here is to kind of become familiar and become comfortable with, through practice, shapes and forms, hand-eye coordination. And remember, you don't have to be perfect. You want to try your best. Your goal is to get the proportion correct. So that's why it's important for you to upload your picture so I can compare and see what you're drawing from. Okay? And the more complex your shapes, the drawings, the number of, don't be afraid of put detail in. And the goal here is your basic proportions of shapes and forms. I want Sully to stand out a little bit more. Who's his little pal? Scully's little pal. Little eyeball. I'm not going to draw that little dude. Okay, do you notice how it's a little bit easier to see? The definition is there. And just a little demonstration, I'm using a Pilot pen, a Rollerball black, precise V5. Very reasonable. And sometimes by using an ink pen, going over your drawing, just line. We're almost done here. This pen portion, it's optional. You can just stick with pencil, but just make sure you get that darkness in there so it's easier to see. It's not too light. And did you enjoy seeing the process of building it up with basic shapes? That's such an incredibly helpful technique when you're drawing something like this. Makes it more accurate. You can correct for mistakes. And the more you practice this, you will build up your confidence. And remember, don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to your own development. Whether it's yesterday, last week, that's how you're going to see improvement. You can use tools like rulers for straight lines. You can use a compass to do circles if you like. Oh, one technique about this is sometimes you don't want to mess up your drawing with your hand, oily hand on this. So what you do is just take a piece of paper, lay it over this, so that allows you to prevents smudging from your hand over your drawing. Okay, remember there's tons of other YouTube videos out there. I hope you got some value out of this demonstration. And I think I'm done for right now. I think this is a good, sometimes you gotta just stop and just kind of hold up your drawing like this, in front of your still life and just compare and contrast. It's not gonna be exactly like your original photograph or your scene because you're drawing with lines and not shading or color, all right? That'll be for later on, another demonstration, okay? But we are done for this video. I'm gonna turn it off and I'll upload it with the photograph for you to take a look at.